Yes, now, and welcome back to the Christmas special. And as you can see, if you're watching along, it is a full house tonight. Some returning guests, and Jeeves, who's looking very reclined there, like he's in the Sandals Jamaica vacation over there. But before we do introduce all of our special guests this week, first of all, massive thanks to the guys over at Third Down UK for powering up this episode of the Top Loaded Podcast. Whether you need card supplies, custom card stands, or great preparation kits, they have you covered. And use TTP10 at checkout for 10% off. And it's quite a confusing one where to start today, who to introduce first. So easy enough, we're just going to go in order. So, well, there we go. The man's volunteered himself. It's the one, the only, Mr. LavBreaks, Mr. LavCollects. Also now, with a lovely Pedro Neto admirer on your page.
Yeah, that is very true, actually.
So just for people who don't know, who has actually messaged you, commented on your last post?
Pedro Neto's missus.
There we go. That's a claim to fame. So talking about claims to fame, there's someone else who had a famous person on their last post, Mr. GBW, after a lovely Tops event this week. How are you doing, my friend?
Very good. Yeah. I promise I'm not that short. They're just very tall. Okay.
Famously, Dominic Solanke is 5'7" and Tossin is 5'8". Yeah. Read a bit what you want.
Brilliant. Stop.
You wait till he stands next to Dembele from QPR and he's actually a foot smaller than him. But moving on to another returning guest who hasn't been on for a very long time. This is where it gets confusing because there's always got to be more than one Harry in a special. So, Mr. ZerCollects, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm all good, thank you. Thank you for having me back on. Yeah, there's two Harrys.
I was going to say, we've got an F1 specialist on as well. So, before we talk about getting to our special topic, Liam Lawson, on a scale to 1 to 10, how happy are you for your collection?
Oh, I am over the moon. I was, when I saw that, my first thought was card sales through the roof. So, very happy with that.
I don't know what's happened to Martin to go through the roof, but introducing the last guest of the podcast, obviously a returning favourite of everyone's, Mr. HJA Cards. How are you doing, my friend?
Very well, thank you, mate. Not too bad. How's everyone? All good? Ready for tonight?
Yeah. It's gonna be a bit of carnage for the next 30 to 45 minutes, but it's gonna happen. It's the Christmas special, and there's only one place to start, and that is just overall what our experience of the hobby has been for this year. Because it's been quite a different year for collecting for all of us. Picked up some nice cards, moved on some nice pieces. Gonna start with you, HJ, because I know you've had some lovely additions to the PC, some of them which are sitting next to me at the moment, which you will be receiving Sunday. But how has it been for you, the 2024 experience within the hobby?
Yeah, it's been emotional. It's been a lot of I think there's a spell where I hadn't bought a card in about 3 months. And then that soon very quickly changed, and cheers. And I think I ended up buying 3 in like 2 days. So it's definitely gone through its spells, but overall very, very happy with the additions I've had to the PC this year. Obviously picked up my first Arsenal 101 this year, which obviously was massive. Obviously predominantly started going towards Erdegaard as well the last couple of months. Picked up some nice Erdegaards, but it's been you look back and you struggle to think what January and February were like. Looking back now in December, but no, it's been a successful year. Obviously, card shows have been massive this year. General events, and obviously, seeing all of you lovely lot as well every so often. So it's been very good. It's been very good this year.
I was going to say, coming over to you now, Zer. It feels weird to call you Zer. For people, for context, it's easier to call him Hammy, but for this episode, it will be Zer. But obviously, F1 and Arsenal is your main focus, Liam Lawson especially as well. So how has it been for you? Because obviously, with Liam Lawson, it's been quite a steady claim to fame so much this year. He's gone from being on the outside to now being an F1 driver full time. So how's it been for your collection throughout the year for him?
Honestly, it's actually been really difficult to get more Lawson cards because they've just gone through the roof. I think since he made his debut in the sport last year, it was like, oh god, like he's now a full-time F1 driver, or been a full-time F1 driver. Everything's like doubled, tripled in price, which is ridiculous. Like I've got like all of his rookie cards, more or less like the car version. It's like number 126 or 121, I can't remember. In the first year he was in Chrome. And I'm missing literally like 3 of them. And one of the BL5s that I bought like 2 years ago, got it for 60 quid PSA 9. And yeah, I've had to pay 4 times that to get one that I'm missing. It's just like it's absolutely insane. Like the boom and his prices. Jeeves, don't get excited just because I said boom. No, but yeah, no, it's been interesting on that. And then with like the Arsenal stuff, I bought my first. I've been wanting to do it for ages. I bought my first Thierry Henry auto this year as well, and I'm like, yeah, that's something ticked off the collecting bucket list as such. But yeah. Pretty interesting year for F1 and Arsenal.
I was going to say, and building into obviously next year, but obviously now with Liam also going to be next year in F1 Chrome, F1 Sapphire, and every other F1 release known to man, which they seem to bring out. Are you going to still collect these F1 bits, or is it obviously dependent on the price a bit more now? But that first F1 series of cards will be quite cool to have.
Yeah, I think the issue is I'm now so in deep that I just have to keep going. Like I need to keep like collecting Liam Lawson's cards. Like it'll be in like Visa Cash at Red Bull, whatever it's called, Racing Bulls, sorry, gear this time. Whereas before he's been in like his high tech or Carlin F2 kit. So it's like, yeah, his first rookie F1 cards be like pretty cool to have. So that's the trajectory we're going on next year.
I was going to say, and moving on to someone whose PC doesn't really change because sadly his team doesn't get any new cards. It's not a shot, it's just the truth. Obviously, Mr. GBW. Obviously, Abir Eze PC is absolutely flying, and so now is the Dwight K. Schrute PC. But how's it been for you in 2024?
Well, you know, I've picked up a load of random cards, and some of those cards I picked up, they've actually left since as well. So, yeah, it's not easy being a Queen's Park Power Rangers fan, but you know, we soldier on. Yeah, I've learned a lot this year.
I think you've dragged every one of us through your pain this year as well.
Yeah, it's been tricky. Every one of you have been to a game with me this year, I think. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think everyone has.
Yeah.
Not been fun, but you know, we'll get there. And eventually I'll get Premier League cards to collect and hopefully Champions League cards. You just never know. You can't.
You're changing team.
You can't write this stuff off. You know, we're a massive club. We deserve to be in the Premier League. So, compared to the likes of Brentford, Brighton, etc. Yeah, there we go. That's my verdict.
Yeah, that's poor take number 1 of the podcast. You have
from the podcast,
obviously. Yeah, I'm not sure about that Brighton comment. I'd give you Brentford with their stadium named after a vacuum cleaner, but whatever they want.
Even if you said Southampton, I probably would have taken it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Southampton, who literally conceded 758 goals per game so far this season. But over to you, Lav. Obviously, I know Chelsea is still your main focus. Certain players signing for Chelsea halfway through the year has added new focus on a PC because I can actually see his shirt in the background as well at the moment.
Yeah, obviously signing Tosin, being a card collector was pretty cool. So picking up a few more of his bits. But yeah, mainly still focusing on Chelsea. Now we're actually doing well. It's nicer to be picking up cards that actually might retain some value. So as well as starting to go more deep diving into the new PDC stuff as well.
I was going to say that's perfectly where I was going to actually say that. Obviously, we've seen a bit of the PDC. We're still waiting for to get our hands on like some of the autos we're chasing and everything like that. As of today, Stephen Bunting did win his first game of the World Darts Championship, which is obviously fantastic. But how have you seen the dart set so far of what breaks or what singles you've seen? It looks good to me. The card quality is a bit better than I was expecting as well. But it's only just the start of that 5-year agreement. So it's a promising future for the dart sets.
Yeah, without actually having the cards in hand, they look premium compared to like sort of like a Prism because they seem a little bit thicker. But the auto has been selling quite well as well, and I've actually seen a 1-of-1 today as well, which looks quite cool. So yeah, in a break with LavBreaks, so hopefully that's gonna break soon, and I think we might be doing a little bit something on Sunday as well to do with opening some boxes. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and obviously we're talking about breaks there, and obviously our favourite products of the year or favourite sets that have released that we've liked to collect. And it's always quite an intriguing one because I think I know where me and Jeeves will be going for most part of this conversation about our favourite sets. We'll say Women's Sapphire straight away, But we're going to take that off the question because we've said that one quite a lot. So we say about other sets that we've enjoyed during the year. I'm going to start. For me, I actually quite enjoyed the Team GB Stars of Paris set. For a Team GB collection, it's just something different. Nice price point. Gives some legends of sport that they haven't had many cards before. So over to you, HJA, for this one. Is there any sets this year that you've really enjoyed collecting or trying to get involved with as well? Because there's always like one or two sets that someone wants to pick up a card from, whether it's a certain insert, whether it's a certain case hit, or even it could just be a certain parallel.
I think this might be an unpopular opinion, but I quite enjoyed Disney Cosmos, whatever you want to say, purely because we sat and ripped a whole case of it. I think, didn't we, Jeeves? When everyone was, So I quite enjoyed that. I thought that was quite fun. But also the Arsenal fan set, I think it was. Also was, I think, an auto per box, and also a relic per box, which I thought was quite fun. I ordered a couple of boxes of those. Otherwise, I think Obsidian, most recently, I think it's been a massive release. Obviously, just literally, I think you probably hold it up, Ronnie, the Erdegaard Colour Blast, which I actually gladly found and bought the other week. So, but no, I think Obsidian recently has been a big one. Stadium Club Chrome, as always, is obviously with the members only now as well aspect of it. But yeah, I think the Arsenal fan set for me was probably the most enjoyable. Getting a couple of boxes of those, and obviously I'm ripping those. A couple of questionable releases, arguably, but no, I think for me, probably Obsidian being the most recent one has probably been the biggest. The biggest hitter for me so far.
I noticed how Jeeves there was nodding his head as soon as you say questionable releases, but we will get to that. Don't you worry. You hold your horses for a second there, Mr. GBW. I'm come over to you now, sir. Obviously, there is I know you've picked up a couple of boxes recently that you're waiting to open, and one of them could be a potential for one of the best releases of the year. But what other sets have been keeping your admiration during the year?
I have to agree with HJ. I think the Arsenal fan set was really exciting when it came out. To be fair, I hadn't really bought a box since like the last year's F1 Chrome. So when that came out, I was like, all right, I've got to get something. And even it was like, I think I got a Tomiyasu shirt patch, and then I got a Martin Keown auto, and I was like, oh, I'll take that still. It's it's two decent cards from the box. Obviously, you could have had like an Omri auto or something, or even the I know you picked up a really nice Kai Havertz auto as well from that set. But I think Arsenal Forever, I think was the other one I quite liked, just purely because it gave you access to some of the players that hadn't had autos before in Arsenal kit, like David Raya. I've picked up one of his autos. I've got a few of the Kivior autos. I'm sorry for saying Kivior because I know it sets a few of you off after the Palace game. But yeah, no, I've got a few of those. And then, of course, the box you're talking about is this one here, the foil fractor. Logo Fractor F1 Chrome, which I'm looking forward to opening this weekend, and we'll hopefully get something very low numbered, but we'll see.
Coming over to you though. I know we've mentioned PDC, but you haven't had hands-on experience with that one yet. So, has there been any other sets for you this year that you've rather enjoyed collecting?
No. Thinking about it, I've enjoyed the Tops Now. Tops Now chasing is always good. I really enjoy that. I bought a few of the recent ones from the Conference League, which got quite a few parallels from. But a particular set, I enjoyed Panini Prism, Premier League. That always I always enjoy that. So not being in any top sets this year for Chelsea was quite difficult. So I had to sort of focus on Panini. Select was good as well. But if I had to choose one, I'd go. I know it's not really a set, but I'll go Tops Now.
Yeah, I think it's always a solid one, Tops Now, but I will not go into a rant for that one now. I've done that in the last 3 episodes. Over to you now, Mr. GBW, because I know you've actually you probably opened near enough every set that has released this year, at least 80% of them. So obviously taking away all the duds ones, which we'll talk about, it probably leaves like 2 or 3 for you to pick between.
I mean, the best sets of the year were Sapphire because they heavily reduced the print run, made it actually premium, which is what I've learned this year. As I hinted on earlier on, I've learned a lot through doing breaks, entering breaks, buying cards, that the premium sets are just where it's at now. There's no point fanning around with these other absolute rubbish. The junk wax is just. We'll get onto this in a minute, but there's been so many terrible releases this year, and it's not been fun to open, to break. But then again, if I had to pick out a few releases that I really enjoyed, Obsidian, that is just the best. I love Obsidian with a passion. I thought Euro Chrome was actually fairly decent, as well as the Sapphire, obviously. The price point, they got the price spot on with that one, tops, to be fair. Trying to think what else. Disney, that was good fun. The Disney Sapphire, obviously. Disney Chrome. Marvel Chrome was decent, even though I didn't know half the characters. But yeah, it was still
my
good.
breaker.
Yeah, my breaker. It was still very good fun. It's those sets like that, which are more premium. There's bigger chases to be had. And one thing I have been excited to see is the introduction of Chloe Kelly autos into Topps products, who is obviously the PC for women's cards, being a Queen's Park Rangers supporter.
Yeah, that's quite a link there. But I'm going to just mention one honourable mention, which wasn't mentioned, which was Copper America Prism.
Oh,
that was
God,
a very good release.
Forgot about that.
Oh yeah,
That's set of the year. That's up there with set. Probably top three easy.
Yeah, I was going to say that was such a good release. It was a good old-fashioned Prism where there was a lot of nice chase cards. Always helps when you hit a Messi to 10 in the set, and you completely forget to mention it as a set of the year. Never be me.
My breaker.
Even though he hit Djokovic low numbered, he didn't even mention tennis, because that is going to be mentioned in our next section, which is our not so favourite releases of the year. And I'm not going to start on this one because I've got 2 and 3 in mind, but I'm intrigued to see what everyone has to say so far. So I'm going to go back straight, because I know Jubilee's just chomping at the bit for this one, because he's got quite a few sets. He's actually got a manuscript for this one, because it's going to go on for about 5 minutes. So take the floor with... Let's just try and keep it to 2 or 3. I think that's fair. We don't want to upset every single set in the world.
Pristine. There's a start.
oh,
That was what it was called. Pristine. I'm trying to think what it was called.
Yeah, there's a classic.
Famously is available at Topps Fanatic store at Westfields in London.
What a way, a Road to Euro product at £330 a box or something like that. Absolutely brilliant.
Don't forget, though, the pack in a pack in a pack in a pack, or whatever it was.
Russian doll style.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else is there? I'm going to go against what Zer said and say Arsenal Forever was terrible. The collation was appalling in that product. And you will agree with me, RP. You will agree. Yeah. The collation was terrible. The lack of Ori autos and your other big names. I mean, you had like 3 or 4 Martin Keowns and Siemens per case. We don't want that. So, that was terrible. What else have we broken, which has been a pain? I can't think of anything off the top of my head, to be fair. But
it's amazing how you've not said Women's Chrome after the famous free caser.
Yeah, I mean, that was terrible. That was so bad. There was like, what was it, 5, 6 good cards across 3 hobby cases. I mean, even UCC Chrome was better than Women's Chrome, and that's saying something.
Yeah, I do not disagree with that. That Women's Chrome case was abysmal. So over to you, HJ, now. Any sets in particular you can think of? Obviously, I know there's some mentioned there which are very much leading candidates this year. I think Pristine will be the one that is on everyone's list this year. Not to feature. If it did feature gigs, it's not the worst concept, Pristine. It just wasn't the best execution.
I think, is it that Fabrizio Romano set?
Wow.
Summer signings.
That was it, yeah. I mean, I think that's got to be placed somewhere in the top 10. But I mean,
his name on it alone is worse enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Pristine for me was the one, because I was trying to think of what it was called, because I know it was ripping the same time as Disney when we were at Jeeves's, and I was trying to think what it was called. But yeah, Pristine's definitely got to be up there, if not the top. I'm trying to think what else has been. I think the Arsenal team sets, not the £20 little sort of hanger box thingies. Don't get it wrong, they're great. Like in terms of value for money and in terms of like your average, your younger collector. But yeah, I think that's why I think the fan set Arsenal Forever. but then you got the complete opposite where you then go to the Invincibles, where it was just that's another one. There we go, the Arsenal Invincibles. The price point was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably go Arsenal Invincibles, and I'll probably go with that summer signings as well.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can disagree with the Arsenal Invincibles for the price of it, for just
purely for the price.
Yeah, purely the price. If it was £200 less, I think people still probably would be complaining, believe it or not. But over to you, Lav. Obviously, I know you. I feel like you're going to have a few sets lined up here. No doubt there's going to be a set that everyone's forgot, and then it will come to someone at some point during this podcast and be like, oh, of course that set. But have you got any other additions for this one?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I
just thought he was deep in thought.
Yeah, it was perfect.
The
perfect subject.
No, he's still thinking. Give him a minute.
That might as well just throw it straight over to you then. Any other sets that you can think of that are not the greatest?
I mean, I think everything's more or less been covered off. I think the Arsenal Invincibles was the one, other than Pristine, Arsenal Invincibles was the one where I was like, would have loved to have got a box had it been at a better price point, because as an Arsenal fan, I think everyone, like all Arsenal fans, have been like, oh yeah, that's a product I really want to get my hands on, and just couldn't. And then if you didn't hit an Henry Auto, there's like, oh, is it Henry Vieira? I think you had to hit to even like break even. Yeah. It's just not that price point. Absolutely not.
Even like you look now, like the likes of Clichy or the likes of like Torre, they're going for under £100.
Yeah, it's
like the auto. It's like, unless you hit a lower numbered or an Henry or a Vieira, you're going bust.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that. I'm trying to think. There must be I feel like there is a setup, but I'm gonna.
Was there anything F1 related that was a bit of a flop?
I mean, I'm not. This year's F1 Chrome, I'm not overly drawn on. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the fourth year and it feels like exactly the same thing, although they've added F3 in. But then you're diluting the chance of getting a good hit with like a Verstappen or a Hamilton or a Leclerc or even a Kimi Antonelli who's coming through, and Oliver Behrman.
I think they've saved
like
it with the logo fracture boxes. I think that the price point then was mad. Yeah. So I think they've sort of saved the F1 release 2024s by throwing in that logo fracture at the end, because I think they're mad boxes.
Yeah.
I was going to just touch on that. With them the logo fractures, it's going to be detriment to them as well, because that price point of £50, people are going to compare it to Chrome and the qualifying lap, which is £25 more expensive, but you're not even guaranteed a number. It kind of doesn't make sense, their pricing for everything.
So with the logo fracture boxes, it's like pretty much you get 4 base packs and 2 parallel packs, isn't it?
Yes, 2 packs have the hit. You only want to keep 2 packs. The others are all base packs.
Yeah, because 2 packs actually have logo fracture packs on there, or logo fracture edition, that are the 2 hit packs. The 4 all base. Yeah,
essentially that.
Which I don't mind something like that. Like, I don't mind it, but I think the price point was for me. The price point of logo fracture was madness.
I mean, we say it's madness, but it's more or less spot on, I think. Like,
well, for us, it's where it should be.
Yeah,
we're not used to that. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow, that's the price point, something that is supposed to be where it's at.
Yeah, considering like that's £50, and as you mentioned, the qualifying lap box is £75, I think it was. And I bought a qualifying lap box. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to go for Chrome Hobby this year just because I can't be bothered at this point in time. And then got the qualifying lap box and saw it, what I got in it. And I was like, I'm not really sure where I'm getting my value for. I know, every time you buy something, you don't obviously get that value for money back. That's very naive if you're doing that, just thinking, I'm going to make profit from this, or, I'm going to break even. But when I looked at what I'd got, and I was like, I haven't really got anything. There was no like below 99 or lower. It was 4 A-waves and of 299. I'm like, oh, okay, great, that's it. And the of 299 was the F3 driver. Whereas that, you've got a chance to get something pretty good, decently numbered, like a 50 or lower maybe. And I think it's of 99 is the highest you can get in them. It's a really good product for the price point.
I was going to say, I would like that template to follow for all the sports. If they'd done like a Champions League one with the Champions League logo on it, it would be such a good release. But it's what we've been saying in the past of the hobby box prices now are just too expensive, and you're not making your money back on them. So when they do bring out a good release, like Logo Frac, that you realise, actually, you know what? This is what the price should be. And then everyone's like, well, you can leave the hobbies. I'm not going to touch them anymore. So it's come back to bite them a bit. But I was going to add one other set to this, and it's not a case of I just don't think it's. I think it's actually okay, but it's just the flagships in general, like whether it's F1, whether it's the sort of £90 for a paper set. Don't get me wrong, they look nice, the cards, but what do you have to hit in a flagship box to make 90 plus back? You're going to have to do very well, because most of the patches are to 199. Probably going to go for a £5, maybe a tenner at a push, or if it's a very good player, maybe 40, 50. How many of the autos are worth more than it? Even the patch autos, they're going to go for more than 90. So, but that comes down to a case of it's got to be different in pricing. That leads on to my next subject of, I'm going to go straight to you, Jeeves, for this one. Do you think the pricing needs to change slightly on hobby products, not just Topps, but Panini as well? Because there's kind of still at the price of the boom price. Don't go into your famous catchphrase as soon as you hear that word. That's what he normally does. He's mumbling it. Everyone, if anyone, yeah, there we go. Yeah, he had to get out once. There you go. He's got it out once. There we go. Say it again, and that's another round of drinks. But do you think the prices need to slowly change, slowly go down in price a bit more to reflect now that there's not as much money in the hobby, there's not as much demand, and singles are not as expensive?
What's he got up on his phone there?
No.
What's this?
It's a yellow card.
Oh no!
It's just a yellow card.
No,
I couldn't get it in the glare to stop.
They do need to reduce the prices of everything. As we mentioned a minute ago, the logo fractor box was pretty much spot on, but the reason why we're all shocked about it and it's going up in price is because it's so sought after and it's a good box, and we're used to these highly inflated cards and boxes. And thank you, Lav. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah. Context, everyone. He's got a piece of paper which says GBW is short. I'm not the tallest man in the world, but anyway, yeah. As we were saying, the box prices do need to go down because there's not much money in cards at all, and you can see that in card sales. Sorry, Martin, to bring you up again, but that there just isn't as much money.
Well, over to Lav, who's made a re-emergence from the depths of internet despair. We're just talking about like the price of boxes at the moment. Obviously, prior to the boom, GBW is short.
Also, hold on.
Oh, yellow card. Oh, he's got his yellow card. We've got yellow cards as well. So, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, if GBW does receive a second yellow in this, there will be some sort of punishment to do at the end of the stream, which I will think of. What we haven't decided yet, so no doubt there will be a second yellow at some point. But Lav, obviously now pre to the boom, Chrome prices were about £80 for a hobby box. Now you're looking for a Champions League Chrome hobby about £240. Do you think it needs to go back down towards the £100 mark, or do you think it should kind of stay at that point of where it is at the moment?
Either the price has got to come down, or the quality has got to go up, and the cards, in terms of value, need to be better. Because if you have a set that is £240 and it's worth £240, then that's okay. But the set's gone from £80 to £240, and it's not got better, really. If anything, it's got higher print ones, got worse.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I was going to say they brought out.
Anyway.
I know MLS Chrome is far from UCC Chrome, but their hobby boxes are 2 autos as well. So despite obviously it's not, you're going to get a lot more autos worth a fraction of the price, but there's more in it to the buyer to actually purchase the product. And over to you now, so obviously from your perspective as well, we've spoke about it quite a bit in the past about releases. Invincible one is a good example. That surely. Is it a Fanatics play it's quite an intriguing one, because obviously with Fanatics now, they're going to try and go for whole market space. They're going to have basketball, they're going to have NFL, they've got Premier League coming soon. So is it a case of they don't really mind shifting the prices up to try and clear Panini out? Do you think it's a ploy from Fanatics or is it a case of they do need to be careful at the same time, because they are pushing people away from the hobby collecting space. Unless you're running a business, it's getting harder and harder to actually be in the space to collect, buy, and resell.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think it's also not to get too into potentially some of the reasons why it's got more expensive, but I'm imagining with inflation, like their production costs have significantly increased. I don't know if there's something on like shipping stuff across as well. I'm going to stop there because I see Lav started to laugh about it. But I think there's multiple things that impact it as well. I think it's clever if they do try and take over like an entire space, like they try and make themselves a one-stop shop for everything, because then they can set the market, they can have that monopoly. And if they have that monopoly, then businesses then have to react to, okay, these are our prices now, and you're going to have to, buy at this price from us. In all fairness, most of the releases they seem to put out on their website sell out. And why change something just because people have, I mean, let's face it, it'd be much easier if everything was cheaper, and everyone would feel like, oh, look, I can buy this box this time round, or next time I might wait until the next one comes out because it might be a better price point for me. But yeah, why I don't, why would they change it if they don't need to, kind of thing. But I do understand that it's becoming a bit ridiculous and it's spiraling a little bit out of control. I mean, even the first F1 Chrome box was like 100 quid or 120 quid. I can't remember the exact price point. And now you're getting something which is in the long run going to be worth a lot less. The product inside is worth a lot less, but it's more expensive to buy a box at the point of release.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I think it's such a good point, especially looking at this season and the prices. Obviously, if we're looking at the soccer market, and obviously there's one person that's absolutely carried the market this year, which is Lamine Yamal. So coming over to you, HJ, for this one. Obviously, now this next year, there's no Lamine Yamal rookies. Obviously, the first set that is released for this calendar year, so to speak, is flagship, and they've only got Yamal base cards. There's no autos, nothing special. How are they gonna? It's going to be even harder for them next year to warrant the prices, because people had Lamine Yamal at £500, £400 for a case break, but there's not many rookies to even be carrying it. Like Victor Gyökeres probably would have been the leading rookie chase, arguably speaking, but then they put him in Merlin Chrome at the end of the year, which took away his rookie year. So it's going to be quite an intriguing one, especially for Topps this year, how they get the money out of the boxes with no Yamal rookies.
Yeah, it's even the same with Endrick. They brought out that Endrick. I think Kaboom, didn't they? They brought out. But I mean, yeah, they've got away with it lightly. I think in terms of the rookie chases, the last couple of years. I mean, I'm struggling to understand or even to envision what the warrant is going to be for the prices in going into next year. What the chase is going to be. I know, obviously, you've got a bit of bias. The likes of Wanyeri coming through now. But also, I know some of his prices have obviously rocketed in Select. Some of his camo was going for like 400 quid. That's numbered to like 199. So I know, obviously, for example, that you had the likes of Wanyeri. But I think, now that obviously Yamal, who's carried through 2024, that rookie year's gone. So it's I'm struggling to try and think who can they bring in to 2025 that's going to be that next big hitter that's going to take away the case breaks, going to take away the bigger spots, and think about who's going to be the front runner. Like the same with Gyökeres, they put him in last minute in Merlin and sort of took that whole thing away. So do you look at it and think, okay, is it now Wanyeri that's going to carry next year? But you've seen that through, UCC and Select that's that gone. So, who on earth do you bring in next year to be like, this is the next going to carry us through 2025 to warrant the higher box prices? Because who is going to be the big chase? You can't reuse the same autos, the same players every year and warrant a higher price because there's so much of their product in the market where how many Henry autos, how many Seaman, how many autos, namely a couple of Arsenal players have got, that you can't keep using the same legends and absolutely spamming the market. It just decreases the value of them so much. So, yeah, I can't lie. I couldn't tell you who on earth the rookie's going to be next year that's going to try and warrant the high prices. But they need to try and think of someone fast. Because if not, I dread to think what's going to be like next year.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it's a perfect section to start talking about, obviously, 2025. But the last question regarding 2025, I'm going to ask you if there's a certain item or card that they would say like that was their favorite piece to that they're going to take in with their PC into 2025? Was there anything individually that you picked up? It doesn't even have to be a card, because one of mine could actually not even be a card. But I'm going to start with myself here, and it was between a certain card, or it was between my Leon signed shirt that I recently picked up, because I think that's quite a nice piece, just in general. I've probably got to say a card, and I always say it's got to be a low numbered card as well. For me, that how bad women's Chrome was. It was a terrible chase for Hacken, as everyone will know if they see any of my Chrome breaks. If I hit one card in a case, that was successful. But then it was my best hit of the year. Famously was pulled by LavBreaks, a Rosa Kafaji Red Sapphire to 5. It's currently at PSA at the moment, getting graded, but that will be my favourite item that I picked up in 2024. Just made a chase worth it in the end. Shouldn't have bothered with Chrome, but I did. But that is the number one item for 2024. So over to you now, Zer. Is there any item in particular? I know you said earlier that it was a few cards you managed to pick up for the first time. Is there one in particular that you'd be like, that this is the number one thing that I picked up during 2024?
Yeah, there is a few, to be fair. It's like I got that PSA Lawson to 5. Now I'm 2 away, I think, from completing the full rainbow of that card. So I'm like, that's a huge card for me to get. I picked up some really rogue cards across the year. I've also started collecting
Cedric.
Henry. I've got like an A5 Cedric card. Like, why have I got it? But my favourite card of all, it has to be that red Henry Auto from Select. Nice to finally get an Henry Auto in the set, and it's colour match. And I quite like the picture they use of Henry, which seems to be the one they use on more or less every card he's got, to be fair. But, yeah.
I was going to say that one famous position of him just like that, staring off into the distance. They need to go and get the images and get a few more ones, because there's no doubt there's some more images on. Actually, you know what? Also, we're probably just being stubborn and not allowing them to use any other images. But moving on to GBW, because I know he's looking on his shelves there trying to work out which card it is. It might not even be a card he has in hand, but what is it? Because I've got to say, I think you've got an honourable mention for 2 things hanging up in your background as well.
Yeah, well, the honourable mentions go to the match-worn signed shirts of Dembele and Steve Cook. Dembele shirt is starting to really smell. I go and get a drink from the fridge, and the BO is serious. So,
how about the shirt?
Well, let me tell you. Yeah, don't worry. I cleanse. Anyway, so yeah, those shirts are cool. I just need to get them in frames, because otherwise the smell in this room will be pretty poor. But you know me, I buy a lot of cards. I lose track of the rainbows I'm doing and everything like that. I mean, I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm looking at the Clive Tilsley rainbow, which is the one off completion. Which is good.
Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't seen it. No, it's probably in China somewhere. They usually do end up on Card Hobby, those types of one-of-ones. But yeah, so that's a special one, because obviously I made my commentary debut this year. Lav will know all about that one. You're muted. There we go. What other cards I picked up? I've honed down my PC of Eze to mainly rookies and the short prints. So picked up quite a few gold out of 10 rookies, PSA 10s. Nothing but PSA 10s for me. Cheers, Lav. So I've got them. Dwight Schrute auto is pretty cool. That's just cultured. Rainn Wilson auto. Absolutely love it. And yeah, I guess the Messi Hidden Gems is a pretty cool one, because I've always wanted a nice Messi card. So into Miami shirt as well, because that's just the best. Yeah,
I think there's some very good big ups there. And over to you, H. Well, apart from the ones I've got in the box here, because there's a couple of contenders, I think, what you haven't got in hand yet. But anything in particular you're going straight towards? Because there has been some very nice pickups from you this year.
Yeah, I know. When we recapped last year that I could probably pick out the top 5, but this year there's a lot to try and pick out from. The first one that springs to mind is the Erdegaard Stadium Club Chrome Auto to 50. Obviously, the picture for me was one of the best pictures that Erdegaard's got in the Stadium Club Chrome, also with that Arsenal backdrop. So to pick up that auto to 50 was PSA 9 Auto 10 was good. I also picked up my first one-of-one. Albeit from Score, but obviously Saka, 1 of 1. PSA 8 got that from Troy, all the way in America. Obviously picked up from the Arsenal Forever the Bergkamp seat relic. What's the picture of him and Henri at Bergkamp's testimonial? That again, the picture itself is just unbelievable. And obviously being a seat relic is pretty cool from the Emirates. I've got a Ben White to 15, orange prism, PSA 9. But I didn't realise I bought it. I didn't realise, and then flipped it over. It's actually jersey number, so it's 4 of 15. Which again, I thought was another little pretty cool addition. Picked up an Ødegaard blue shimmer to 8 from this year's prism. Ødegaard colour blast that you've got. There's just a lot. Like I've got Declan Rice and Martinelli, both kabooms. Yeah, I dread to think if I look back what my total expenditures were on cards. I think I'd be physically sick. But there's a lot of cards that I've moved on that obviously were bigger cards as well. So Saka Colour Blast, namely that from Obsidian that I moved on this year. So there's a lot to name, but I think for me the number one spot has to either be the Saka 1 of 1 or the Ødegaard Stead and Club Chrome Auto, because that was for me one of the biggest chases, the Club Chrome Auto from Ødegaard.
Yeah, that's definitely a solid list, that one. If we would have said to you at the beginning of the year that would be your yearly pickups, I think you would have snatched anyone's hand off at the beginning of it. And
I would have done.
I know Lav has picked up quite a few cards this year, especially famously now that Chelsea are existing in Topps products. But is there any in particular that you'd say that's one? Because there's been some impressive Topps Now cards as well.
There's not like one specific one. I was just literally looking through everything. As soon as you asked the question, I had no idea. So I started looking through everything. One of the things that I was quite happy to do was all the out of 92s from the Prism for Chelsea, which is quite cool. This Drogba Auto out of 10, which I thought was quite nice from the new Obsidian. I hit that in a break. But yeah, there's not really like a big standout card, but there is a big standout card that left, which is the Drogba 1 of 1. I moved that on and actually got a Haaland shirt as well as some money in return, which was quite cool to do sort of like a memorabilia swap as well as getting some cards involved, which is pretty cool. Hadn't done that before, so that's kind of like a cool thing to say. But looking through, it's not really like a major standout card. There's like quite a lot of nice sort of mid-end stuff that I think I'm really happy with. Like the Malo Gusto rookie gold atomic. That's quite like an iconic card. The gold atomic from Merlin. So that was quite a nice one to pick up. And then just a plethora of Topps Now cards that come last week. That was using GBW 10 at checkout, which adds extra luck. That's what I've heard anyway, that it gives you better luck. If that can be confirmed, I don't know. But there's not really a standout, but there's quite a few nice few bits that I picked up.
I was going to say, it's been quite a successful 2024 for all of us in here without collecting. Obviously, 2025 is going to be a quite big year for collecting and experiences. So just going to briefly look ahead to what we kind of want to do within the hobby in 2025, as well as experiences that are going to happen. Because I'm going to start with GBW on this one, because I know he's got a lovely trip planned, for quite early on in 2025. But what's your kind of goals with like YouTube as well as breaking and just card collecting in general for 2025?
Well, the YouTube stuff's going to progress to different heights, I'd imagine. As you hinted to, I am heading off to Dallas for the Dallas card show in January, which is around a month's time from now. So that's happening. Going there with Harry from London Card Show, Real Harry's World, as he's now known. That'll be good fun. Hoping to do the national as well in July. Obviously, this summer we've got, or next summer, whatever, 2025 summer, we've got the Women's Euros as well, which I know Ronald is excited for, but as am I. I should be at a few games for that, so that'll be good fun. Just go to as many card shows as I can. That's not just for me, but for LavBreaks as well, to get the name out there and build a few more audience members, I guess. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. But the content thing is the most exciting thing for me.
I was going to say, it's especially with the top store at the moment, we've seen a lot more content from you. So are you going to do, as well as obviously the YouTube longer format videos, are you going to do a lot more of the reels that you've been putting out recently on the Instagram, which are so easy just to like to watch, as well as promote whatever it needs to be done?
Yeah, as you said, the reels are so easy. They're not easy to make, but people these days, the demographic of audience has changed quite a bit. It's hard to explain, but attention span isn't quite what it was a couple of years ago, which is why TikTok has become the platform it is, which is why every platform is introducing short form content. So that is why I'm doing a lot more of that. And I mean, I've got another one which is going out very soon, which I'm very proud of. So yeah, we'll be doing more of that. It's easy to do that alongside, because if you, for example, if I haven't got any, full length videos planned, I can easily whack up a reel, and that's content.
I was going to say, we won't reveal the answer to did your auto sell more than a professional footballer's one, but is there going to be stuff like that as well? Because I think that's quite good content for people to check out on your platforms as well. There'll be stuff like that. Little box rips. Hopefully, I'll get the opportunity to film with more professional footballers as well, more prestiged influencers as well. I'd quite like to film with. So yeah, we'll see where the year takes me. Obviously, Tops have really taken care of me in 2024 with the Euros and other events, Silverstone, all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in 2025. I was going to say, it's going to be quite a big year. We've mentioned it already about Liam Lawson, obviously, with the F1, but over to you now for your, what you try and achieve collecting wise, but as well, just hobby perspective as well.
To be honest, it's a very interesting question, because I don't know where I see my collection going or happening. I think next year, I want to pick up some Miles Lewis Skelly cards when he gets his first cards, or gets better cards than I think he's in some. Does anyone know what set? Yeah, better set than that, basically. Wait for some good cards to come through for him. And I want to collect the first Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari overalls card. I think that would be pretty cool when that comes next year as well. But I don't know what else really. Maybe I'll maybe
card shows.
Yeah, maybe go to a few more car shows. That's strong. That's a fair point. I've only been to actually my last one was back in March or something ridiculous. So I definitely need to get to a few more this year. Basically. Thank you, mate.
Yeah. I was going to say, was you obviously looking at card shows, obviously London card show, but was the last card show you even come to in England, or was it in another country?
No, it was a London card show, but it was this last year I went to Dublin card show, and then London card show. So yeah.
Well, maybe right. So that means he's you've heard Dublin, folks. That means he's going to be in Dublin.
Red, a straight red.
Yeah. Just get him gone. Yeah, he's gone. Over to you, Lav. Obviously, I know you've been widening PC slightly for different teams. Obviously, Tops now is going to be a massive one, no doubt, for you 2025. And obviously now with Chelsea being included, going to be in every Top set next year. Is it going to open up your collecting a bit more now? Because I know you do lean towards Tops now and certain card designs as well within Tops products.
Yeah, it's obviously still focused on Chelsea. I'm sure we'll sign more random players that Todd Bowley likes, and it's going to be aiming for the new sets. What's coming out? I do want to get more premium stuff. I don't know. Tops now isn't really premium, but I still collect that for sure. But I don't know about flagship. I might stay away from that personally, and Deco. Although there is a nice Hazard, Palmer, Jewel, and Deco that I had an eye on. But I've also got Dublin Card Show with TVW coming up in, I think it's the start of March.
Last weekend of February. Well, last week of February, first weekend of March.
Okay, yeah. Got that coming up.
The question
was, a little smile.
Yeah, got there in the end.
Yeah, so that'll be good. Also heading to New York in February, at the start of February, so I want to go to a card show over there. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Still focused on Chelsea, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And over to you, HJ, for your, like, obviously, I think it's going to go along the Martin Odegaard route and potentially the Ranieri route, because I know you've been picking up some of his stuff as well.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple, but an Odegaard 101 would be nice to set myself a bigger goal for the 2025. I've randomly started to pick up a lot of the Ben White 2022 Prism. I think I've got the orange to 15. I've got the gold to 10, and I've got the to 50. I think it is as well. Which also I randomly started collecting. I don't know how, but I've got a couple of parallels from there. I've seen a blue shimmer on eBay as well. So, but yeah, I mean, Ben White and Odegaard are probably the two main collections. But yeah, it's Arsenal really. More towards sort of buying. I need to do a submission. There we go. 2025. I need to do a PSA submission.
Yeah.
Because I've not actually done one yet. So
have you still not done one? That was your goal for this year.
Nah. Yeah, it was. I said that in 2023. No, yeah, I still haven't done it. See, that is my goal for the first 3 months in 2025 to do a PSA submission. So I've got about 10 cards now that I want to send off. So
well, there we go. That's the starting of it. And for me, it's going to be saving a lot of money till about November, December time next year when women's Chrome and Sapphire release with Arsenal in it. Because that's going to be very expensive, the women's Sapphire, especially chasing the Arsenal red Sapphires, as well as whatever cards are going to include in that. So it's just going to be chaos. And I know James is going to be chasing Chloe Kelly in Chrome/Sapphire as well. So we'll be in for the pain together of not hitting anything. But if it's the same designer's flagship, it's going to be a great release next year. As well as just same as HJ there, just continuing with the PSA submissions. Just getting more stuff graded until that comes out. But like I say, I think 2025 is going to be a good year for cards. Obviously, it's going to be quite intriguing how the market reacts after 2024. No doubt there'll be some new releases that we will track during the year. But before we obviously do end this Christmas special, just go around the thing just for a closing message for each of you for 2024. So the people who actually are listening along will have a nice message to finish off the year. I'm looking at you there, Jeeves. Nice message, please. So we're going to start for you, Mr. GBW. A nice closing message from you.
Why are you looking at me? Well, happy holidays, everyone. Thank you very much for your support. Yeah, keep collecting, keep swapping, trading. That's the same thing. Buying, selling, grading, all that good stuff.
it's gotten worse and worse.
And yeah,
swapping, trading.
And yeah, so please subscribe.
Keep buying and purchasing.
And yeah, bye everyone.
I've got to try to close myself now. Over to you.
That has got to be the worst.
Oh, he's done an Anthony.
No.
He's done an Anthony spin. Oh my God.
He's done the Michael Scott.
Lab, please. Second yellow red, please. We need a second yellow red. It's not happening. Oh, no yellow card. No yellow. He's gone. He's gone. Over to you, HJ.
Last couple of minutes.
Over to you, HJ, for your last closing bit for this podcast.
It can't be hard to beat that. I mean, yeah, thanks, obviously, everyone for the support this year. Closing on 2,000 followers now on Instagram. I think they're about 20 off, sorry. So hopefully we'll hit that at the start of next year. But yeah, just thanks for everyone's kind words this year. It's been good to see everyone consistently at card shows and stuff. So yeah, long may it continue into next year.
Amen to that one. Over to you, Zar.
Just to echo that, really, it's been great to
meet
some new people in the hobby. Okay, well, yeah. Cheers, guys. Bye. That's my message.
Fair enough. That's your message. And over to you, Lav.
I'm so sorry.
Hope everyone has a good Christmas and good New Year, and everyone smashes their goals for the New Year. And here's to Enzo Maresca's tricky Blues win the Premier League.
Yeah, like I say, obviously a massive thank you for every single person who's watched, listened, whatever it may have been for 2024. Hope everyone out there has a lovely festive period. But another massive thanks yet again for our sponsors during this whole year, Third Down UK, powering up this episode and the whole year for us. If you need any card supplies, custom card stage, grade preparation kits, head over to their website, check out the link in our bio, and use TTP10 at checkout. But I hope everyone out there is staying safe, buying, trading, swapping, and all of that good jazz. But most importantly, happy holidays and good night.